아메리카노 좋아 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 아메리카노 진해 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 어떻게 하노 시럽 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 빼고 주세요 빼고 주세요 이쁜 여자와 담배 피고 차 마실 땐 메뉴판이 복잡해서 못 고를 땐 사글세 내고 돈 없을 때 밥 대신에
So I think I can close the giant window. Yes. So, why am I sitting sideways in this? I was like, I had to look. Okay. Alright, I'm back. I totally forgot that I had told someone else that I was going to do the viewer Q&A for them. Actually, I told two people, and there's one girl. Oh, I think she wants me to FM, you know who you are, FM. We talked a while ago about church hurt, and I had this whole long video about my experience with church hurt, and then I realized that that video was like an hour long, and I was like, oh, that's a lie. I try not to go over 30 minutes. 30 minutes is my max. So I'm going to try and shrink all of that video into like 30 minutes because I've been through a lot of things concerning church. A lot of foolery concerning church. But because I love God, I kept going. So anyway, I have not forgotten you. I'm going to do your video. I'm going to get that together and shrunk down. And I might have to just record a new one and just like take the highlights and yeah, streamline it, right? So, and actually it's kind of therapeutic for me to talk about that out loud because I usually don't. Like I talk about it a little bit and then I just keep moving because it's my choice not to focus on negative things in life. Like honestly, if I focused on all the negative things that have ever happened to me, I might as well lay in the street and die. Like seriously, I've had so many hurts and people doing hurtful things on purpose, and being a survivor of rape, being a survivor of a broken home that is no longer broken, I thank God for that, but just being addicted to pornography, and that's something hurtful I did to myself that started out from something hurtful that someone else did to me. Yeah, I have been to hell and back so many times. I say that jokingly because like I'm not in hell anymore, but I really have been through hell and back. Yeah, so if I focused on those negative things, then I wouldn't do anything. I wouldn't be able to go anywhere, and I wouldn't be able to function, and I would just be depressed and crying and upset and overwhelmed all the time. So I choose not to focus on those things. So yeah, my point in this story, in this ramble that I'm doing right now, I'm trying to stop rambling. But my purpose in that is that I have not forgotten you, SM. I'm actually going to Facebook you after this. I'm making a note to Facebook you after this to tell you that I'm mentioning you in this video. FB. Okay. Yes, so I'm going to make your video. I haven't forgotten you. You didn't jump to the bottom of the totem pole. Actually, I finished your video last year. I finished your video last year. Sorry. So sorry. Alright. So this one actually is from I Love You. You know who you are. You told me you wanted to be anonymous, which is why I didn't say the other person's name because I didn't ask if they wanted to be anonymous or not. But you said you wanted to be anonymous, and so I am going to answer your question. And you are so sweet. This individual, she follows me on Facebook. She follows me on Twitter. She's on my radio page as well on Facebook. If you haven't join Asia 1040. We have way more listeners than we have who join the Facebook page. I don't know why, but whatever. She's right there, and I love you for that. Like I really do, because when people show me that they appreciate that I'm invested in them, it makes me want to do more. So thank you for that. So you inboxed me yesterday, day before yesterday, asking how do you know if you are saved. I think that this is a great question, and I think that anybody, whether you've been saved for 2 minutes or 20 years, I think this is a legitimate question, and I think just across the board, whether you're a Christian or not, like, you should always question what you're doing and why you're doing what you're doing, and if you're seeing fruit from what you're doing, and if that fruit is indeed producing seed in your life for you to plant more and grow more. If it's not, and I always tell you guys, any relationship, anything you're tied to, if it is not empowering you, then it is toxic. And you need to roll out. Like, that it should be, I always tell people, that's like my motto for relationships. If I'm taking care of you and you're taking care of me, then everybody's covered. Everybody's taken care of, right? So even in church, if you're in church and you are feeling like you're just flailing in the wind and you don't feel God and you're not being taken care of and you can't see Him in your life, then yes, this is a question you should ask. So for sure, don't ever feel like you have to do something just because it's status quo. You can change your mind. You can. Yeah, okay, I'm about to go on a tangent, sorry. I'm doing better. I'm staying succinct and on it, right? Okay, so, how do you know you're saved? It depends on which religion you ask, which denomination, should I say. And denominations aren't in the Bible, which is why I don't subscribe to one. And I think I've already talked about that on a video like maybe 2 years ago. Because people have asked me, oh, what religion are you? I actually don't have a religion. I would say I'm probably the least religious person that there is on the face of the planet. Because I don't do anything out of tradition. I don't do anything out of, oh, I have to do what I'm supposed to do. I do it because I feel in my heart that that's what I'm supposed to do, and then that's what I do. If I don't feel convicted about it, I'm going to do it. If I feel convicted, I'm not going to do it, because it's based on my relationship with God. So I'm probably the least religious person that you would know. And of course I'm exaggerating. But yeah, so it depends on which religion, which denomination. There are people who call themselves Christians. There are Catholics who say that you can be saved by paying your way out of purgatory, and that you won't know whether you're saved or not until you die. There are people who don't call it being saved, but they call it reaching nirvana. And you keep dying and coming back to earth until you get that right. When you get full enlightenment, then you can rest, I guess, or enter into the light. I don't know what comes after that. I have to look that up. But so it just depends on who you ask. Since you asked me, my answer is, and I said that because I don't, as always, I want to stress that whatever I share with you is my journey, my experience, my interpretation, my opinion about my relationship with God, sprinkled with a little Bible. So, I am not the final authority on anything, so don't take it as that. So, my answer, I would say that you know that you are saved when you have entered into a relationship with Christ. I will also say that being saved and walking in salvation, two totally different things. We are saved by grace. Saved is not an action of you doing something. It's recognizing what's already been done. Christ already died for the entire world. So technically everyone is saved if they want to be. God, I thank you for Calvary. I want to live the life that you have for me to live. The life that leads to love and peace and joy and a better me. Let's do it. That is the sinner's prayer in essence. That's it. And so at that point you are saved, because it's like, if I send you a gift and you never open it, is it still your gift? Absolutely. Did I buy that gift for you? Absolutely. Did I send it specifically for you? Yes. But if you don't open it, even though it's yours, you'll never know what's inside. And therefore what's inside can't become a part of your life because you don't know what's inside. You never opened it. So that's the same thing with salvation. Salvation is that gift that has been sent to the whole world. Being saved is that gift that has been sent to the whole world. And at any point in time, anyone who wants to open it can open it, and they will reap the benefits of everything that's in the box, which takes you out of the box, actually. Everything that's in the box, the gift, the proverbial gift, everything that's inside, you have access to that immediately when you decide to open the box. That's it. That is what being saved is. So you are saved the minute that you say you want to be. You are saved the minute that in your heart you recognize and believe what happened on the cross for you. Then your salvation begins when you realize that the cross was the beginning, not the end. The cross is the beginning of a relationship with God. The cross had to happen so that you could connect with God. Jesus is not the stopping point. Jesus is the beginning. He is the springboard. He is the catalyst. He is the bridge that gets you to God. The ultimate relationship is for you to be in a relationship with God. Although Jesus is God, it is a reflection of God, and he says, if you've seen the Father, then you've seen me. In believing that, it allows you to transcend as he did beyond this realm and connect with God the Father. And so that is where your salvation comes. For me, every day I say, hey God, what are we doing today? And then same thing we do every day. We're taking over the world. Funny, but true story. And the world starts with me. I'm going to have change at my job. Even if it requires, like 2 weeks ago, for me to commit Harry and slice my insides open for the sake of peace. That, and I mean that proverbially. Obviously, I would never slice I don't even think I have the guts to do that. Slice my insides open. But this person, my boss, was totally just wrong. Just wrong as two left shoes. And I mean, she was running me through the mill. I mean, dragging my name through the mud. Just this woman who I thought was a friend outside of work ripped off this mask and was like, "Whoa!" And it was crazy. And at first I was like, oh nah, pimpin', it's not going down like that. You got the wrong one at first. I was like, oh ham sandwich, no, did you just lie? Like, really? So, but then God was like, hey playa, it ain't about her. It's not about her. She gonna do what she do. It's about you and how you respond. And I'm using this situation to grow you. You ask for patience, now you got it. You ask for humility, now you got it. Let me show you just how patient you're not. Let me show you just how much humility you don't have. And I was like, oh, because I looked at the situation, I was like, okay, I wasn't rude or disrespectful. I'm being extra with you guys, but I did cross the line local. I'm not signing nothing that's a lie. That's what I'm not going to do, is sign that. So I was honest. I was very honest, but I wasn't like disrespectful or anything. But when I had to come home and see the situation from a God perspective and say, that's not what somebody who follows God would do. Because somebody who follows God wouldn't be worried about X, Y, and Z, because ultimately I follow God. What can you do to me? Nothing that he won't allow you to. And if he's allowing it, then my trust and my money's on him, right? So that's salvation at work. This is an example of salvation at work in your life. So it's not to say that you're going to automatically be perfect. It's not to say that you're not going to mess up. It's not to say that you aren't going to have to take a test, fail, and take it again. That's not to say that. Walking in salvation is saying that you are making a conscious effort to connect with God in every area of your life. From your sexuality, to your finances, to your time, how you spend your time, whom you spend your time with. All of that, you're trying to use that to connect to God, because you are that in love with him that you want to experience every moment of your life with the one you love. And it is a love affair. And so that would be my answer to you. You know you're saved when you know that you believe, not just, oh, Christ is a nice thought, but no, when you believe that Jesus is who he said he is. And if you read John 4, that's really what it's all about. Actually, the whole book of John is written from a perspective of someone who loves God. And it's almost a questioning perspective, like, why do you let them talk to you like that? Why do you let them say you're a liar? Why do you continually say, I tell you the truth? I tell you, like every other sentence out of Jesus' mouth was, I tell you the truth. I'm telling you the truth. I am who I am, and I am here to help you. I'm telling you the truth. I want you to be healed. No, I don't want your money. I don't want anything in return. I want you to be healed because I am healing, and I want to give you me. The whole book of John is about that. And so, yeah, the minute you believe in your heart of hearts that Jesus is real, he is alive, he is reaching out to you, relentlessly chasing you down, that is the moment you're saved. That's how you know you're saved. If somebody puts a gun to your head and says, do you believe in God? If your answer is still yes, because you believe in him just as much as you believe that you have earthly parents, if someone holds a gun to my head and say, are you Gloria Atkinson's daughter? Absolutely. I'll die today, because that's my mother. There's nothing that anybody could say that would tell me that she doesn't exist or that she's not really my mom. Even if my mom came and told me that I was adopted, I'd be like, you lying. I don't even believe you. I wouldn't tell my mother she was lying. But I'd be like, that's irrelevant. Because you are the mother that I know. You are the mother that has sacrificed for me. You are the mother that has done endless things for me without question, without blinking, unconditionally. So you're my mom. And that's that. Like, that's that. So, that is my answer for you. You are saved the minute you believe. Prime example of that, and I know that's kind of contrary to what the church would have, but I thank God that I have a relationship with God, and so I don't need a man or a church to tell me how to interact with God. But prime example, at Calvary, you know, Christ was in the middle, and there was a guy being crucified, because crucifixion was not just for the Lord, that was the way of dying then. But Christ is being crucified in the middle. There was a robber on one side, and it was a murderer on one side, a burglar on one side, and then I think the guy was like a petty thief, like he stole like bread or something. Anyway, I don't know, those people are irrelevant, kind of. So on one side, this guy's like, you're the king of the Jews, and that's a whole, I could do a whole video about that, shine over his head, but I'm gonna let that roll. Anyway, the guy was like, king of the Jews, this dude, whatever, if you the king of the Jews, then let us see you get up off of this cross then, if you supposedly the king of the Jews. But this is a non-believer. He wasn't Jewish, he wasn't anything. He was just like, I am who I am. And he's like, man, we need to, then if you the king of the Jews, get us all down. How about that? Get us all down, let us see. And when he said that, the crow plucked his eyes, slam out. So I guess he did see. You see what he didn't want to see. Careful what you ask for. But the guy on the other side was like, he totally took penance for himself. He was like, I am supposed to be up here. I know I stole, and rightfully I'm up here right where I need to be because this is where my actions led me. But when you go to heaven, there was no question of who Jesus was. When you go to meet your Father, remember me when you go. He wasn't trying to get into heaven. He wasn't trying to like size Jesus up. He was just straight up like, yo, I'm going where I'm going because I did what I did. But when you get there, remember me. If there's a chance, if you think about it, think about me. And the thing is, he was thinking about him. He's thinking about everyone. That's why he was on the cross in the first place. And so the fact that he believed in what Christ was doing on the cross, the man said, and you'll sit next to me in heaven. You'll sit on the right hand of the Father. Dude got saved immediately. Boom, think. It wasn't a long sinner's prayer and all that, I gotta get money. It wasn't all of that at all. It was when he believed in his heart that he could have access to God and to the heavenly realm and to the kingdom through Jesus Christ. He became saved right there on his cross. So that's when you become saved. How do you know you're saved? If you believe Jesus is who he is, if he did what he did for you, and he is now, via relationship, your access to God the Father. You don't have to go through a priest. You don't have to go through a pastor. You can talk to God on your own. I do it all the time, and this he does answer. And I'm so glad he does. So I hope I answered your question. I hope that was a sufficient answer for you. And as I said, being saved and walking in salvation are two different things. Now, once you're saved, you could essentially just be that. But to get the rest, because there's always more to God, right? To get the rest of God, it's a journey. So you constantly have to be willing to grow and change and see things that are not so fly about you and move on from those things with the help of God, the help and guidance of God. It may mean changing your environment, changing the people who you hang around, changing the things that you do, changing how you feel about certain things, because it's not about how you feel, it's about what God wants to do. And so yielding, let me say that, yielding to the possibilities of the you that you can become because you are saved, that is walking in salvation. Again, both are choices. You have to always continue, you have to always be willing to continue the journey. It's kind of like, if you get married to somebody, you can choose to stay in that marriage and make it work and make it awesome. Or you can choose to stay in that marriage and constantly cheat on that person. Not divorcing them, but just cheating on them. Or you can get married and then separate, live on two different sides of the world, but on paper, you're still married. You're still bound to that person. And so I feel like those are the different ways of salvation. You could totally be connected with God and have him involved in every part of your life because you care, because he cares about you. And again, like I said, if I'm covering you and you cover me, everybody's covered. Having that type of relationship is awesome. You can also have one where God is a part of your life, you are saved, and you do believe in who God is and who Jesus is, but every chance you get, you dancing with the world. You're doing your own thing however you can. You get it in where you fit in, doing it like you're doing it for TV. That's you constantly. You're in a marriage, you keep coming home, but when you're not at home, you're with someone else. You're entwined with someone else. Then you have the people who get saved, and then they never talk to God again until they get in trouble. But they're saved. You know what I mean? They are just out there. Those are people who are separated from God. They're still married. They're still saved. But they're separated from God. They're at a place where they're not connected to God. And therefore, when you are not connected to God, you're outside of God's will. And therefore, his hands are tied, because it's like, you live way over there. Yeah, we married, but I can't do nothing for you. If you get in a car accident, you way over there, I can help you. Now, of course, God is omnipresent. If you get in a car accident, because he loves you, he'll spare your life so that you can come to him and get back together. But the point is, why gamble? Why even gamble with that? You know what I mean? So I hope that answered your question. Thank you so much for writing that. There's much I can say about that, so I hope I kind of hit all the highlights, because in my brain I was like, okay, say this, say that, say this, bing, 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 bing. So I hope I hit all the highlights and gave it to you. Again, by no means am I saying I'm the final authority on this. By no means am I saying this is the end-all be-all, and by no means am I saying that it's the end of the story, because it's not. These are the highlights that I wanted to say to you in this short amount of time. Okay, second question is, how are black women, why? Okay, I got this from a person, and I'm not going to say her name either, because she didn't say she wanted to say her name. I just said I would reply to her in a video response. Why are black women moving to Korea when it is one of the most racist places on earth? That's a valid question. Excuse me. One that I've been dancing around answering. Man, I've been dancing around this, and I think, yes, that's what I'm going to do. I'm actually going to stop this video, because I think those are two separate topics, and I don't want to try and marry them into one video, because I think that's a lot. So I'm going to stop this video, and I'm going to record the answer to this. Okay, pause.